Yesterday it was announced the Duke game will be at 7 o'clock the following week. And one other reminder, if you are going to be covering some basketball, to contact Philip Sykes with your credential request for the season sometime within the next week. Turn it over to Coach.
Okay, good morning. Short week, but like how our guys have worked. I thought they came back in here Sunday with some purpose to them, and have kind of embraced the opportunity that they got in front of them. I think that's a big part of it is just the mental part and understanding that both teams have the same amount of preparation time, and how you apply that time is critical. Wake Forest is 4-3. The Florida State game kind of got away from them early, and but the other two losses they've had, one by 5 and one by 7. They're a very competitive team, just like they always are, and they're always tough. They always play us tough, and say it every year, but they're as well a coached team as there is in the country. The coach crew and the entire staff up there, they do a phenomenal job in giving their guys a chance to win every single week. So we'll have to play well. Offensively, they haven't changed a whole lot. They're still, want to be a balanced team, and a lot of misdirection and screens and boots and crossers and a bunch of formations. And the difficult challenge of that is just making sure you get lined up properly. And because when you don't, they busted a couple of runs on us last year where we just didn't quite get lined up right and give ourselves a chance. But they do an excellent job. The quarterback is a very efficient player. Is missing a couple of key guys that we had last year, but he is very, very capable. And their offensive line's improving, quality backs, quality receivers, and again, just do a great job with their personnel. Defensively, they do as good a job as anybody we play every single year. They're the same, and they just understand their scheme. They move around a lot. They're never really in the same spots. And you have to do a good job, first of all, communicating, our scheme, how we're going to target them, and then you got to catch them. You got to catch a lot of movement because they're very rarely playing gaps, and they're moving all the time. And so being able to handle that is the challenge against these guys. And that number 50 up front, he's back for them now, and he's not very big, but man, he is a handful. He does a great job. Dalton has got his hands full, in blocking him. And they're a 3-4 scheme, odd front, and do a good job with their backers and creating pressure, and sacks and those type of things. But I think their secondary is very good. They do a good job of route reading. They do a good job of playing technique. They're very disciplined. They break on balls. They get their hands on a lot of balls, and always a challenge for our receivers. So the receivers this week, they're going to have to really be technically sound, do a great job with their fundamentals, not tip things, and compete their tails off against this group they got. But the biggest thing for us is just focus on the opportunity that we have in front of us. I think this team's got a lot of opportunity if we'll continue to stay focused, stay committed, and just keep grinding and just keep trying to improve each and every day. If we do that, then we've got a chance to continue to get better. And with that, I'll take the questions.
Given the historical significance of what happened the last time you guys went up there on Thursday night, can you just reflect on that trip and kind of what happened with it?
Well, it was a nightmare. I remember it well. We just couldn't do anything right. It was, oh my goodness, it was a long night, long trip back. And on Monday there was an interim head coach, and that was just a tough deal. And it was kind of a culmination of how we played that year. We just hadn't played well. The reason, and that night was kind of the epitome of that. We just could not seem to do anything. Going played pretty good on defense, but we just could not do anything offensively, from what I remember. But you know, look forward to going back up there and hopefully we can play better this time.
Do you ever think about how much your life has changed since that night?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sometimes then I sit and I reflect and I just, you know, am blown away by how quickly life can change. You know, and it's been that way, you know, my whole life as far as just, you know, trying to stay focused on the things that, you know, I believe in, the things that are important, trying to do a good job where you are, and preparing yourself for opportunities, even if they don't ever come, you know, preparing. And, you know, I try to use that as a positive when I go and speak and things like that, and make a point to people that, you know what, you just never know. You know, and you never know, first of all, when your opportunity will come, or how it will come. And the other thing is you never know who's paying attention. You don't ever really know you don't ever know how you affect some people's life by maybe something you said or did, or just what they may observe or something. And, you know, those are just lessons that I've learned throughout my life. But, you know, I'm here, good Lord opened this door, and, you know, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to lead this program. Just tried to do the best I can since the day I got this job, and trying to just get better each and every day, each and every year. And I'm proud of the group for how far we've come since that time. I'm proud of the program. And, you know, there's been a lot of good things happen, and we've had some disappointments along the way, and some lessons and things like that. But, you know, looking back to, I guess that's 4 years ago now, we've come a long way, and hopefully we can just continue to get better.
Is the quick turnaround maybe a good thing for Taj, the offense, because maybe they weren't fully in sync this past Saturday?
You know, I hope so. I don't know. We just, biggest thing is just got to execute, you know, the play. You know, we didn't play our best game offensively. It's the worst game of the year. We didn't play great up front. We only had two guys great at winner. And Tosh didn't have his best game. He did some really good things, but just inconsistent. And, you know, but hopefully that'll have something, you know, some effect. But it shouldn't. I mean, we just, you know, practice every day. This is going to be the 8th game of the year. And you know, you just put that one behind you and go on to the next one, and just get back dialed in. So.
One, the other thing, in that Wake Forest game, the next morning, Willie Korn, his name started. Do you remember, did you guys talk about that on the bus ride back, or what?
No, that was, in fact, we all, I don't, there may have been a discussion, I wasn't in that group. There might have been a discussion with Coach Spence and Coach Bowden, I don't know, but I just remember, I just remember there was some controversy or something with that whole situation, on how he found out or when he was told or whatever. I remember that, but I wasn't privy to any conversation like that. But I also remember that next week. I don't remember a whole lot about that next week. But, I remember really starting the game for us, and it lasted about a series, and got hurt. So that's about it.
When you think about that, going into a game as head coach of Clemson for the first time, and your starting quarterback is Willie Korn, does that sound like 25 years ago or something?
Yeah, it does.
Lots happened.
A lot's happened. And, you know, listen, I mean, I was just trying to survive. I mean, everybody that week was just trying. My main focus was the players, and trying to get the players together, you know, because we weren't together. And I knew that the only chance that anybody would have would be if I just get those guys to have some fun, to buy into some things from a team standpoint, and just come together. And that's really there was a lot of, I mean, I didn't sleep that week. There was just a lot going on. And yeah, you get an opportunity to lead a program and be a head coach. And at that point, I just, was passionate about trying to get these guys to believe that they could win again, and that they could be good. And it didn't have to be this way. And regardless of what happened in 6 weeks, hey, let's come together. We all got a job to do. It's a privilege to be here. These fans are buying tickets. Hey, we'll figure it out 6 weeks from now. But for the next 6 weeks, let's just do our job the best we can. And they bought into that. And the staff did. Everybody, bought it. It was a difficult situation for everybody. And everybody, I think, did a fantastic job in trying to make the best of a very tough situation.
When you say they weren't together, are you talking about just the chaos and disruption of the coaching change, or was that something?
We just really weren't a team. We were just kind of lost our way, and we just really weren't playing, like a team. And that's, for whatever reason. I mean, all I know is we just had to fix some things. We had to try to get these guys energized, try to get them, back together and believing in each other. And yeah, I think about it now, it seems like forever ago. But really, and I hate it for Willie Corn, because I remember I was excited to see Willie play. He was excited to get an opportunity, and just disappointed that he got hurt. But Cullen came back in there, and then he was able to finish up with a strong finish to his senior year, which was good to see, because obviously it was a very disappointing time for him. There was just a lot of disappointment on that team, and the best part about that year was a lot of those guys were able to leave there with a little bit of pride, and they were able to leave there feeling like they had kind of accomplished some things. I mean, to go from where we were that night in Wake Forest to the Gator Bowl, playing Nebraska, which we probably had no business being on the field with Nebraska, and battling them like we did literally to the last play. Nobody knew who Sue was, but I knew who Sue was. And, I'll never forget Thomas Austin, ever forget Thomas Austin coming. Thomas Austin's a pretty good player. You also remember we called Bobby Hutch off the sideline. He'd been, coaching. Now he was the Pete Rose of that year. He had to go in and start playing. He didn't go through camp and do nothing. I'll never forget that game, because we watched the tape going into that game. We're like, holy smokes! Look at this guy. He wasn't Sue then. It was the next year he became Sue. He was just a guy with a funny name at that time. And we're sitting there going, goodness gracious, how are we going to block this guy? So we go into the game, and it was early in the game. Early. And I mean, he blew us up. And I come over looking at Thomas Austin. Thomas Austin, he's this guy's focused and serious and a good player. He's just like, Coach, we can't block that guy. he said we're gonna have to, slide to him, double him, change how we're doing this thing. He was just honest as he could be. Most guys say, I get it. He's like, we can't block that guy. Bobby Hutch's eyes were this big, But and then the next year he went on a tear all through the college football scene. But, anyway, but that's what I remember about that. Just being able to finish with a good taste in those guys' mouths and feeling like they had left here with some pride. Because that was a tough deal for all of those guys. You lose your coach, and it's emotional. And James Davis, all that group. I'll never forget that group of seniors, because they gave us a chance to win, because they could have just quit. They could have just shut it down, but they didn't do that. And that's the pride that they had at Clemson.
Yeah, well, you said you didn't remember much about that week following the game, but are there some things that didn't really stick out the days following the Wake Forest game, that first week?
No, not really. We came in, put the game to bed. I went recruiting Friday night. I remember that. I remember me and Billy Nathan going recruiting up in North Carolina to see I think we were going to see a receiver, if I remember correctly. And we go up there, and boy, I remember we were not very well greeted by some folks when we showed up at that game. Just coming off of a really disappointing loss like that, just played so bad. And not that it's bad. I mean, listen, Wake Forest is a good program. We really played bad in that particular game. But that's about it. And then Saturday, I being with my kids and spending the day. And that's it. I mean, we were here on Sunday. We were here on Monday morning early, and that's it. There wasn't anything. There was no indication of anything at all. We had staff meeting that morning, and we actually did a devotion. We did a devotion. I had the devotion that morning. Ironically, it's my day to do the devotion. And had a normal staff meeting, and later, we were actually doing blitz pickup, and when Andy Johnston walked in and said, "Hey, Coach Dabo wants to see you guys." I don't know, 10 something in the middle of the morning. So just a bizarre day.
If you partner ways with Coach Spence, the 13th, you had to get a game plan ready for that with direction, obviously. You want to get still more involved. How was that? Looking back on your group, was that the most difficult game week preparation?
Oh yeah!
Oh
my gosh! Are you kidding? Absolutely. It was total chaos. I mean, we're trying to literally do everything. It was very difficult, because I had a ton of, I still have a lot of respect for Coach Spence. He worked as hard as he could possibly work, and whether you liked him or not, the guy worked his butt off for Clemson, but there was just no way it was going to work, and it just, and then there's difficult decisions that have to be made, and that was one of the most difficult that I made, and it was, literally, it all transpired so fast, and I'm sitting in Terry Don's office thinking that, I don't know what he's going to tell me, but I left his office with, well, man, I may have a shot here to probably not a good chance, but we better do some things to give ourselves a chance here. And so that was a difficult decision, but there was just no way it was going to work because it was going to be different, and I needed to have control of that, and obviously it was very different. We took what we had and we tried to make the best of it. Move guys around. Mike Dooley was coaching tight ends for me. Billy was coaching tight ends to coaching quarterbacks. Jeff Scott's a GA on defense. He's coaching wideouts, and we just rolled our sleeves up and went to work. And but yeah, that was a crazy week. But again, we had fun, and we had fun practicing. The guys were excited about what we were trying to do, and almost pulled it out.
What was your reaction when Terry Don said, "I want you to be coach"?
I probably, like everybody else in the room, just stunned because it wasn't a long discussion. I mean, Coach Bowden literally walked out, and he walked in and said, "I'm sorry, guys, this is business." It was very emotional because everybody had a ton of respect for Coach Bowden, and that was a difficult thing. Coach Bowden was great, like he always was, handled everything with class, and didn't say a whole lot. Terry Don walked in, and he just, I'm sitting there in sweatpants and a sweatshirt on a Monday morning, on long days, and he just said, sorry this happened, but we got to move forward, do the best you can. And Dabo, you're now the head coach. You call all the shots, see me in my office in 5 minutes, and literally. So, what would your reaction be? And I was just, okay, and then he left. And so then, you can imagine the emotion in the room, and and it was a lot of emotion. Guys saying this and that, and calling wives and slamming notebooks. I mean, it was a raw moment. And then it got quiet. And I had no clue what to say. I just said, "Look, guys, I don't know what to say. Let me go meet with him, and I'll just try to we'll get back together when I find out what the deal is. And that was it. And about an hour later, I met with every one of them individually, and we just tried to make it work. And everybody did that. And those guys did a tremendous job. And that's one of the main reasons that, outside of the two coordinators, I kept everybody. Because, all those guys' contract was up March 1. And even though if I was just getting a job by myself from scratch, and would have probably done things a little bit differently, I played the hand that I was dealt, and I did what I thought was right. And again, because those guys were tremendous. The two coordinators had 2-year contracts, and we needed just to change there from a chemistry standpoint, and then, but the rest of those guys all had opportunities to stay. Some of them chose to move on to different places, but they all had the opportunity to stay. And really, really proud of the job the team did and those coaches. And, here we are 4 years later, still kicking and trying to get better.
To roll it back a little bit further, leading up to the Wake Forest game, you said that had you yourself identified that there were some issues within your locker room or somewhere that was that led to the bad performance?
I didn't have to identify them. I mean, I think they were pretty evident that we just weren't a great team, and I just tried to do the best job I could with the role that I had, and but we just we weren't together. We weren't together. And,
had that been going on for a while?
No. We were coming off a good year. I just think that for whatever reason, we just kind of lost our way, and obviously had a difficult loss there in Atlanta that night, and we just kind of spiraled from there.
So you just kind of it just started with the slap in the face against Alabama?
It could have, or maybe it was just things, building up that I don't see. I don't know. All I know is where we were at the time, and coming back from Wake Forest that night, I can just remember going, God, it's frustrating. But then you start to say, okay, how do we fix this? How do we pull this together? Who we got next week? And we can get this thing back rolling. Been here before, and that kind of thing. And Coach Bowden was great in that regard. Remember him talking to the team. Listen, man, we're going to get this fixed. We'll get back to work. We're going to still got a lot of ball left. Let's just try to win the next game. And, it seemed like our team just wasn't believing. It just kind of hoping. As I said, when I got this job, the number one job I felt like I had was trying to create an attitude of belief and not hope. Getting guys to believe in each other, and our systems, and how we want to do things, and the overall vision of the program, all that type of stuff. And that's to this day, I've never had a team meeting that I don't walk in here and put a believe sign up right here. That's just the beginning of every meeting that I've had since I've been a head coach, because that's where it starts. And I don't think we had that for whatever reason. You could go on and on about that.
Coach, can you just talk about the challenges of being a road team on a short week? I mean, if you look at the NFL, road teams struggle historically in short weeks, college sort of the same deal. What are the challenges for your team specifically, short rest and travel?
Well, we're 1-9 on Thursday nights. We got to live with that. You got to take the good with the bad when you take the tradition of a program. I've had one Thursday night game since I've been a head coach. We went down to Georgia Tech. It was almost a replay of my first Georgia Tech game. We went down there and had a tough penalty called on us late in the game, and they ended up winning it, kicking the field goal. But we played hard, had a few mistakes early, but really played hard. We just, it's tough to win on the road in any league. It's a challenge. So the big thing, from a travel standpoint, I think it's about evens out, because we were at home this week, noon game. They went to Virginia, noon game, so they got home a little later. I think it's really the same. I don't think it's that big a deal. The big thing for us is our guys have to miss a little class, but we'll bring them in tomorrow. You lose a whole day of preparation, but we'll bring them in tomorrow, do our game prep, and we'll go a little bit longer tomorrow than we normally would on a Friday, probably about 15-20 minutes a little longer, and try to catch up on some things that we would normally get done during the week, and then we'll load up and go. But we still got some good meeting time and walk through time on Thursday. We'll take advantage of that. And then just, we just got to be who we are. At this point, it's not like you're going to transform yourself. And we know who we are, offensively and defensively. It's more about just executing, identifying, hey, here's what they do. Let's study the film, let's prepare. It's not like they've had an open date or something like that. So they're going to be who they are, we're going to be who we are, and we just have to execute.
In reflecting this week, is there anything about Taj's performance that is linked to physical issues, or are these things that are just maybe his head wasn't right going into that game?
No, I think his head was perfect. I mean, he was great. Had a good week of practice. Great pre-game. He's excited to play. You don't have to explain all. You can't. Sometimes you just screw up. Sometimes you just make a bad play. And to sit here and try to explain it, it's more just mechanical. If you watch the throw to Nuke, I mean, it's probably going to be a touchdown. But he just doesn't transfer his weight to that front foot, and so the ball sails on him. That's just fundamental. It's not anything else. And sometimes when you play at such a high level and you do so many things, then all of a sudden you have you show a little weakness, or you show some human tendencies. Hey, this guy isn't perfect. Then it's, well, what's wrong with him? Oh, he's hurt. Oh, it's this. Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with it. He just didn't play a great game.
There wasn't just one mistake. It wasn't just one.
He missed the throw to Nuke, but again, my point is, how about the plays he made? He made some great throws too. But everybody wants to talk. The one he missed to Nuke was high, tip, pick. All right. Then we had Nuke on the back of the end zone. He was high on that. Same thing, same fundamental issue. And then we come back and the little drive up. That's just touch. He's just antsy. We weren't playing great up front, and all of a sudden he's thrown a rocket. I mean, I might have caught it, but Andre Ellington ain't gonna catch that. These hands, no touch. I mean, he just, you got the one to Sammy. I mean, he just threw a rocket. I mean, those are just touch balls. He could just press it a little bit, just in the moment. And but boy, I'll tell you what, he made some great throws. He made some great runs. He had a bad read down there in the red zone where he pulled the ball, and the guy we're reading makes the tackle. So he's not perfect, but there's no conspiracy. He just made some bad plays.
I didn't say there was a conspiracy. I was just asking a question.
Yeah, no, well, just fundamental. Just not. I mean, but it's just, and I guess it's more an answer culminating because I keep getting that from people, or is this and that and whatever. He just had a bad game. And there's really no way to explain it other than he didn't execute his fundamentals and his mechanics properly on a few of those throws. But it's all about, do you lead your team to victory? And that's what he did. And he did it in a gutsy way. And with his legs, that throw to Nuke Hopkins, and that was the other thing too, we didn't make a couple of plays. Nuke should have had the one touchdown. That was a great throw. But the throw to Nuke that we made for the touchdown was outstanding. The throw to Sammy, I mean, those balls were just perfect. So, did he get better? Yes. Did he get worse? No. He improved. He had some mistakes, but it wasn't that he wasn't ready to play or whatever. And sometimes I think Taj feels like he's got to explain everything. Instead of, it was just a bad play. And that's really all it was. But he'll keep playing good. But the key to me is, he's just managing the game better. And the difference from him last year was he would have some moments like that, and he'd get worse. He wouldn't really get out of it. Georgia Tech game, perfect example last year, down there. Y'all remember that. He just never could get out of it. and he just kept making mistakes. Whereas, and part of it was he just couldn't let that stuff go. He's very hard on himself. But this year he's done a much better job of that, and just managing the game and finding ways to lead his football team down the field. But wish he had played better. He's played pretty good now. Heck, he played bad against Georgia Tech, and I think set the record, or the second record. Second in school history. He didn't play very good. He missed a lot of opportunity. But you know, so he's our leader, and boy, he's done a fantastic job.
Coach, can you just talk about the defense maybe gaining some momentum perhaps after a performance like that? And if that's good going into a short week to have that sort of confidence going in?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think that's big. Confidence is a big thing. You know, with any team, confidence is a big thing with young people in particular. And they have steadily improved over the course of the season. We're not dominant, but they are improving, and that's the thing that I like to see. They're starting to really get it figured out, you know, learning from the lessons that they're getting coached on in those meetings, and that's how young people learn. They got, you know, you can only teach them so much. At some point, they got to go play. They're going to make mistakes, and they got to learn from those mistakes. And I just think that they're learning and they're growing up. You know, they're playing hard. I mean, shoot, we're even with not playing great early in the season, we did a pretty good job in the red zone all year long. We've done a really good job, and that is what I like to see, because they just keep playing, they just keep fighting, and you know, they don't let a big play say, all right, well, shoot. You know, they just battle their tails off, and they've had some huge stops all year long. So they'll keep improving. By the end of the year, I think we've got a chance to be pretty good on defense, and most of them back. A lot of guys coming back off of that unit.
Two things. Chad yesterday was basically saying that last week's game was kind of a step back offensively. He wasn't happy with pretty much anything. Could you comment on that? And the other thing, have you ever seen in the grass call before?
No, I've seen in the draft call, but
In college?
I don't recall it lately. I've seen it more in the NFL, but it's been a long time since I've seen that in college. That was a tough call. It was a tough call. No question about it.
But making progress last week?
Oh yeah, offensively, yeah, we definitely played our worst game, and you know, kind of, I don't know what it was. I mean, we just had some guys. Well, part of it was give them some credit. You know, Virginia Tech played, I thought, very good up front. The suckers were tough, and you know, they're all on full scholarship too, and they got coaches and all that, and they did a good job. But the big thing was when you talk about taking a step back, we didn't protect our quarterback well, and we've done a good job of that for the most part. You know, that's kind of what you would have expected from this group maybe earlier in the season. But these guys have done a pretty good job, and so to be where we were to see a couple of them regress was disappointing. And so we challenged them this week, and they've got pride. I think they'll respond. But we only have two guys up front, grade a winner, though. Well, that's not good. And we have not had that all year. So that, when we talk about taking a step back, that's what we're talking about. Our quarterback didn't have his best game. I thought Andre Ellington played outstanding. There was some bright spots. He missed on 3rd and 1. He missed power. That was well blocked. He's running outside. I mean, that would have easily probably been a 3, 4, 5 yard gainer. That's probably the only thing he missed. I think he played really good. We did some good things outside, but just overall, not a very crisp execution, you know, on offense. So we got to get back to doing things the right way, and as a result, 3 and outs. You know, we have not had that many 3 and outs all year, and so we ended up with 6 or 7 3 and outs, and that affects what we're trying to do.
Most since Chad's been in, wasn't it?
I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of them. I don't. It affects us. So then your defense is playing more snaps. They've played quite a few snaps in that game, and they played well. You know, but again, listen, over the course of the season, you need all phases to come together and find ways to win games. It's different. It's not always going to be the same recipe as far as, well, you know, counting on this. I mean, sometimes, you know, it just won't go in the bucket, and you got to find another way to win. that's what good teams do.
Since you've been head coach, why do you think it is TV always makes you go on the road to play a night game?
I have no idea, but yeah, Beret was telling me that yesterday. What'd you say we had, like 17
Last
neutral
5
site
years,
games?
we've had 17 road night games and 3 home nights.
I don't know. Everybody's scared of the valley, I guess, at night. I have no idea. But, you know, we don't control that. I mean, we really don't. We just play them when they say play them. I'm not getting any younger, I'll tell you that. The 4 and 5 a.m. mornings take a toll on you. Like I said, we went up to, heck, we played at 3:30 at Boston College, but we didn't get home until 3:30 in the morning or something. It was still a long trip. But, again, we don't control that.
Sounds like that one of the problems last week's game aren't mechanical, or it's not when it came to it, because it's a bad game.
Yeah.
Is it being a short week help that too, to forget about it, or to de-emphasize? Is that something you really have to?
Oh, no, we addressed everything, and we went through it. And listen, defensively, too, we played our best game. Because I told them in here Sunday, I mean, hey, here's 10 plays right here that, you know, if we just clean this up, we got a chance to be really good. You know, I think it helps in that, you know, they're disappointed offensively. They didn't play better, and they don't have to wait till Saturday to go play. They're anxious to get back out there. That's the great thing about baseball and basketball. You just, well, heck, had a bad night last night. Well, I'm playing again tomorrow. I got 192 games or whatever. And you just forget about it. I was talking to Kyle Parker about that Friday. He was here, and he was telling me about that. He's like, you know, we played 40 spring practice games, and then we go play 100 and something. I mean, you know, I just, you know, that's all you do is play. And whereas for us, you know, you don't have when you're a competitor, you don't have a good performance. Shoot, man, it bothers you. And you want to get back out there. And so I think that's a positive. You don't have to wait till Saturday, and you got a chance to go play better. And as long as you got another game, you always got something to shoot for to just keep improving, you know, as a player. That's the bad thing about when you lose that last one. You got to wait all year to play again.
Any thoughts about Duke, what they're doing, how well they're in that division?
Just, you know, really happy for Coach Cutcliffe. I think he's one of the class guys in this business. I've always had a ton of respect for Coach Cutcliffe, and you know, that's a. I mean, I can only imagine the excitement that those guys had after that ball game in their locker room. You know, they've worked their tails off. 1990 something that they've been to a bowl. I mean, that's, you know, hey, I think he's done a fantastic job. And again, he's one of the gentlemen in this business, and he always has been. I've known Coach Cutcliffe for a long time. I've always had great admiration for him and respect for the way he's coached his players and led whatever program he's been in charge of, whether it's Ole Miss or Duke. So, you know, I think it's great. It's great to do.
Anything else?
Bye, guys.